In this tutorial, we will learn how to play a blues in any key using just two chord shapes, two barre chord shapes. We will also be learning a formula, a fairly simple formula, which will show you where to place these barre chord shapes in order to play a blues in any key. Now, you don't need to know the notes on the fretboard, you don't need to know which key you're in, you simply need to know the chord shapes and the formula which tells you where to play those chord shapes. Now, it can be quite helpful to be aware of notes on the guitar, and it can be quite helpful to know which key that you're playing in. So please see the links in this video description for more tutorials on those aspects. So now let's look at the chord shapes that we need to learn. I'll demonstrate them on the 5th fret, which is here. The first is a 7th chord barre shape, root on the E string, 5th fret. Chord shape looks like this. And that makes an A7 chord. The second chord shape that we will use has its root on the A string, 5th fret again, looks like this. And this is a D7 chord. And those are the two chord shapes that we will be using to play our blues. So throughout this tutorial, when I am discussing chords, I will be referring to them by their chord names, but I will also be referring to them by their Roman numeral names, as in chord 1, chord 4, chord 5, etc. In a blues progression, a simple blues progression, which we are going to play, we need chord 1, we need chord 4, and we need chord 5. The formula, which I will demonstrate shortly, is the key to finding the roots of those chords, chords 1, 4 and 5, and it's the key to being able to place the barre chords that we've just looked at in the correct position. One rule that we need to follow is when we have our root on the 6th string, we need to play this version of the barre chord. And when we have our root on the 5th string, the A string, we need to play this version of the barre chord. So let's imagine we wanted to play a blues progression beginning on the 3rd fret of the E string. If we nominate this as our opening fret position, then the first chord, chord 1, is this chord here. Now, in order to find where chord 4 occurs, we simply move from the E string to the A string, same fret, and this is now where we need to build our chord shape, this chord shape, and this is our 4 chord. So we've got the 1 chord, we've got the 4 chord. Now to find the 5 chord, we simply move up 2 frets from the 4 chord, and this is now the root of our 5 chord. We play this chord shape, and we have now found chord 1, chord 4 and chord 5 of a blues. So let's have a quick recap of the formula we use to find these barre chords. If we begin on any fret on the E string, move across to the A string, and then move 2 frets up on the A string, that gives us the root of the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord, which we need to play a blues progression. And this formula can be easily moved around the fretboard as shown. So we should now take a look at what a 12-bar blues looks like. On screen you can see a 12-bar blues represented entirely as Roman numerals. The vertical lines are bar lines. You would count 1, 2, 3, 4 for each bar. The top line has 4 bars of the 1 chord. The middle line has 2 bars of the 4 chord followed by 2 bars of the 1 chord. The last line has 5 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 5 chord, 1 bar of each. So what we can do with the chords that we have found to be 1, 4 and 5 in the key of G is just slot those chord shapes straight into this template. That gives us a 12-bar blues in the key of G. So let's hear what that sounds like. So now it's time to put into practice everything we've learned so far, and I'm going to ask you to find the chords to play a simple blues using the formula and chord shapes that we've already learned. I want you to take the 7th fret E string as your root. Now this is the note B. So the blues that you play will be in the key of B. So you can pause the video, you can take a moment to find the 3 chord shapes that you're going to need to play, then restart the video and I'll tell you if you've got it right. So let's see if you managed to find these chords correctly. Beginning on the 7th fret, that would be our chord 1. And we play this shape. This is a B chord. Moving across, same fret, but now the A string. This is where our root is. And we play this chord, and this would be chord 4. And this is an E7. And in order to find the 5th chord, we just move 2 frets up from chord 4. And we build the chord on fret number 9. And this is our 5 chord. This happens to be an F sharp. So we have B, E, F sharp, and those are the 1, 4, 5 chords in the key of B. So let's hear what a blues in B sounds like. Play along if you can. So there is just one more thing to mention. In the blues chord chart which we looked at earlier, I had slightly simplified it just for clarity. If we wanted to be 100% accurate, we would call these chords 1-7, 4-7 and 5-7 because they are 7th versions of the 1 chord, the 4 chord and the 5 chord. I hope you've managed to follow this video, I hope you've learned something, and I hope you can put it into practice. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please comment and ask any questions, maybe even subscribe to my channel. So until next time, keep playing those blues.